Welcome to the unique world of Lockerbie learning. Do come in, we have lots to share. Back here with Betty, who is one of our agricultural science ladies. So for those of your children who are thinking about coming to Lockerbie, agricultural science and environmental studies are really important, as is cooking, to all of our students from primary right through to secondary. I think Betty has to go and collect some seeds and some stones now, so I'll continue with careers. Off you go. Alrighty, so we're back here now with some more careers of the future. We're looking at 2030 and beyond. Let me not say the word Kardashian out loud, but social virtual influencers are right now really important to your teenage children. But it's going to take on a whole new dimension. In comes computer science, because a lot of these are predicted not to be real people, but actually to be computer-generated people. Kind of like the politician of the Black Mirror that we spoke about earlier. Personal stylists communicate with you as they are shopping for you. Virtual reality really comes into play here. So you wouldn't think that personal shopping, where you have to have some art and design and maybe a little sociology behind you and communication and people skills, you now have to have computer skills as well. Musical electricians. Music and sports are two areas where the world is their absolute oyster, and they are going to take on a completely new dimension. We haven't done a lot of research into that at this point in time, but we will be adding to our careers of the future as we go along. I want you to look for a moment at this. Experiential art science, museum design, and artists. What you would have noticed over the last few days is that several museums have gone completely virtual. So while you're at home, you can tune in and you can do a tour of museums around the world which have outstanding pieces of art which you may never have the opportunity to visit in person. But everybody's looking for something to do to occupy a bit more of their time. And museums are giving you virtual tours. These remind me of when I visited the Singapore Art Science Museum, and it's interesting that the museum is not just science, but it's art and science museum. And there were amazing rooms that were purely experiential. This room, you literally walked through the galaxy and you experienced hundreds of thousands of lights, which represented what walking in space would feel like. And this room was dynamic. The flowers moved and things grew on you. So as you were standing in this room and you put your leg out, virtual, almost like hologram plants grew on your shoe and up your legs. And it was a virtual experience that was quite uncanny. And this is the direction that art and science are going in together. A hologram artist is going to become really important, along with a virtual reality and a virtual holiday designer. And you know how you can go to theatres now and you can get 3D, and some theatres you can get 4D because your seat may move or you may smell things and so on. This is going to be 5, 6, 7D. And it's going to feel that you're inside of that world. Kind of scary underneath, I've posted 7 million jobs will disappear by 2050. Yes, robots are taking over, but there's going to be a lot for creative people to do. We know that creative intelligence is something that isn't yet able to be replicated in robots. And so don't let this terrify you too much, but let it galvanize you into looking beyond the world that your children feel comfortable in right now. The face of teaching will change, as teaching has changed over the last couple of weeks. It has had to change very, very quickly in Barbados. At Lockerbie, we've been remotely teaching for 8 years, as other videos we will be posting online will testify. But teachers will change. The human element will still be involved, but as to how that human element will be involved, we'll have to wait and see. And let's hope that Barbados is right up there with what's happening in the rest of the world. Gaming. This is another image from the Black Mirror series. Gaming ceases to become experiential with a handheld device and becomes internal with electrodes placed so that you're playing the game in your mind's eye. Software bug bounty hunters, they're happening now. And what they're doing is they're finding glitches in computer software that's written into the operating systems. Here we see a photograph of a gamer. This is already a career of now. There are young people all over the world who play games for a living. And let me explain it to you this way. Those people who earn a great deal of money but enjoy games and have no time to get themselves from level 1 to level 10. They then buy from gamers entry into level 10. So in their very limited free time, those who can afford it can start at level 10 and play up. However, this picture of the gamer is because game design is going to go from being experiential, where you play now with a gaming console, and it becomes more electronic and biological by having an electrode on your temple. This is an image from the Black Mirror series, and what it shows is that in his mind's eye, he is playing a virtual game with someone else who shares an electrode connection, or with several other people. What was really interesting in this episode was that this man did not choose to be a male character. This man chose to be a female character. And his female character was interacting with his co-player's male character and ended up having an intimate relationship within the game. Bring in sociology and psychology and all kinds of metaphysics, and you will understand the importance of subjects and learning beyond IT or computer studies or even design. The importance of sociology and psychology at a higher level is quite huge in almost everything. Cybersecurity technicians, they're going to be required in almost every aspect of everything. And cybersecurity technicians are going to need business and economics with them as well, because business and economics are what make products saleable. Automation advisors, well, we already know that when we try to get hold of an information service provider, we get an answering machine right now, and we get a live person on the other side of the world. Energy harvesting engineers in the very short term are going to be extremely important. So those of you who are committed to a career or careers in science, you need to be looking at this, energy harvesting, because it incorporates absolutely every area of science. Physics at CSEC may not be enough. You may need a background, also a tentative background in electronics. You might need it in computer studies. You might need it in mechanical design and technical drawing. You're going to have to look broader than you're looking now. Robotic engineers, obviously, that will speak to itself. Bacteriologists and virologists, right now, incredibly important. I don't need to talk about them. Pharmacologists, also nanoscientists that merge all of the sciences. Anesthesiologists will become more and more remote as medicine exponentially spreads globally. Doctors are already using programs like 3D printing and that kind of thing. Anybody who watches Grey's Anatomy will see where they're 3D printing tumors so they can figure out how to deal with them on a surgical level. So doctors are already living in this world. Genomic medical practitioner, these are those who will be mapping and controlling genes, and that's already being done now. The medical world is really moving very, very quickly. Food technicians and those who are growing organs because there are not enough organ donations for the recipients who need them. This is already happening, which brings into call our need for those who wish to study law and ethics and politics and communication of different kinds. You've got a lot of catching up to do, and I think your industry probably knows that. But it doesn't mean that this kind of career couldn't merge very successfully with someone who has studied law or somebody who has studied communications, done an English degree. What we're finding right now is that collaborative multi-agency teams consist of people within separate professions. So you will have your architects, your agronomists, your mathematicians, and your environmental management engineers. You'll have them all working in a team on a project. And their actual qualifications are coming from strict degree courses. So the architect has done architecture, and the agronomist has done agriculture and agricultural management, and they've come from a spectrum of university courses that have been pure in their field. Subjects they have studied at school have fed into that kind of university entry. What we're going to be seeing more and more of is that cross-qualification, so that an architect has to do compulsory modules in agriculture and agronomy. Or an architect might have to choose compulsory modules in physics, or nanophysics, or nanobiology, or nanomechanics, or electronics. That's beyond what he's doing now. So while you have a good idea and lots to think about, because there have been lots of shots of what's been going on all these boards, and you can take any of these words and all you have to Google in is, what does a personal stylist look like in 2030 or 2050? What are social virtual influencers? What will they look like in the future? Ask Google all your questions. Ask YouTube all your questions. And of course, if you want to have a discussion with something other than a computer, the internet, or a robot, just give us a call at Lockerbie. You can reach us on WhatsApp at 252-0270. If you call us on our office line at 537-3673 and you get a recording, it will guide you how to get in touch with us in person. And you can always reach out to me personally on schooldirector@lockerbiecollege.com. Thanks for coming on this Careers of the Future talk with us. It's been a pleasure. Welcome to Lockerbie Learning.